Storytime on how I caught both of my best friends cheating on me with my boyfriend. Yes, both of them. So at the time, I was entering college, and one of my best friends went to the same school as me. My other best friend went to the same school as my boyfriend. And our schools were close. We were only like 10 minutes away from each other. Homecoming is when things started to get fishy. I asked my boyfriend if he wanted to come out to our homecoming games, and he said that he was busy. Then, of course, I asked my best friend, but she said she had cheerleading practices because she was trying to become a cheerleader. I don't know, they just always seem busy doing something around the same time. So then the holiday comes up and I visit my boyfriend's family for Christmas. I don't know, something in me just told me to look at his phone, and he was talking to my best friend, the one he went to school with, and the conversation was just too flirty. So I talked to my other best friend about it that I went to the same school with, and she was like, oh, I always knew something was weird about them too. I, of course, confronted my boyfriend about it, and he said nothing was going on. So I decided to play reverse psychology on my best friend. Come back for part 2. Part 2 on how I caught my boyfriend cheating on me with 2 of my best friends. Like I said, I confronted my boyfriend about it, and he pretended there was nothing going wrong. So I went to my best friend about it, and I kind of did like a reverse psychology thing on her. I told her that my boyfriend told me everything that was going on. And I was like, did y'all even use protection? Not really knowing what's really going on. And she was like, I'm sorry, it was only a one-time thing. And that she was just drunk one night. And I was like, sis, you practically told on yourself because I was joking. And then she kind of like snitched on my other best friend. She was like, I wasn't the only one, you know. And of course I was like, what you mean? And she said a couple months back when we were in high school that my other best friend had slept with him also. The whole situation was just messy. I ended up cutting off my whole circle. And later on that freshman year, my ex-boyfriend started dating my ex-best friend.
Storytime about why I hate my brother's girlfriend. So a little background information, I was 14 years old and had just started my freshman year of high school, and my brother and his girlfriend were both seniors. And we're going to call his girlfriend Riley. Now, Riley and my brother started dating in the middle of the summer, and you would think since they just started dating and basically just met each other that I wouldn't know her that well. But literally 2 days after they started dating, she started spending every single day at my house. I'm being serious, like she had a whole duffel bag that had basically her closet in it. But that wasn't the problem. So in the summertime, my parents would plan a lot of family activities. And since they were called family activities, his girlfriend wasn't allowed to go. I mean, I think she would have been allowed to go, but she was also really disrespectful to my mom. So after one of our family days, my parents asked my brother if Riley would be joining us for dinner. And he just ignored them and went up to his room. And my room's right next to his, so I could hear everything. And Riley called him like for part 2. Part 2 about why I hate my brother's girlfriend. So like I said, my room was right next to my brother, so I could literally hear everything. And I guess Riley called him and she was complaining about me. She was like, she's the reason why your mom doesn't like me. I feel like she's jealous of me. She doesn't want us to be together, which was really weird because I didn't give a fuck about what my brother did. So fast forward, school finally starts, and Riley lived about 20 minutes away from us. So my brother told her that he couldn't go and pick her up for school every day. But obviously I would ride to school with him because we lived together. Anyways, eventually she had a problem with that too. So my brother and I had to start leaving 30 minutes early to get to school so we could pick her up. So the first time that we pick her up, we pull up to her house. And obviously I'm in the front seat and she's just standing there. So my brother rolls down the window and he's like, get in the fucking car, we're gonna be late. And then she literally has the audacity to start arguing with my brother in front of me about why she should get the front seat instead of me. Like for part 3. Part 3 about why I hated my brother's girlfriend. So like I said, once she got in, she started screaming about how she should get the front seat instead of me. So I turn around and I'm like, last time I checked, you've only been here for 2 months. Stay in your fucking lane. And then she starts crying because she's like, oh my god, your sister's so mean to me. Like, I just feel like I should have more respect as his girlfriend. So fast forward to the weekend, my mom said that she needs to have a talk with me. And she's like, honey, I know you may not like your brother's girlfriend, but you have to stop being mean to her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've only had one conversation with her in the last week, and that was to tell her to stay in her fucking lane. And then I told her about everything going on. So she calls my brother down to ask him if it's true. And my brother was pretty pissed off at me, but he wouldn't lie. So my mom said that she was not allowed over the house anymore and that he wasn't allowed to go pick her up from school until I got my license. So that just caused more problems between her and my brother, so he broke up with her. And then she started spreading rumors that she broke up with him because there was something weird going on between him and I.
I the asshole for not replacing one of my groomsmen after he cheated on a bridesmaid? My fiance and I are getting married in 2 months. I have 4 groomsmen, including my brother, cousin, a close childhood friend, and a close college buddy. My fiance's best friend was in a long-term relationship with him, but unfortunately for her, he got exposed as a cheater. I don't know the details, and honestly, I don't want to. I wasn't aware of the cheating prior to the time it was discovered. I feel his relationship with her is none of my business. My fiance, on the other hand, does. She hates him and is demanding that I replace him. She said he'll be a toxic presence to our wedding because the woman he cheated on is going to be a bridesmaid. Am I the asshole for not replacing one of my groomsmen after he cheated on a bridesmaid? I was bothered by this. This guy is one of my closest friends and I've known him since we were 18. I want him to be a groomsman. I said that they could both go and just set aside their beef for one day. After all, the day isn't about them, it's about us. Their relationship is also none of our business. She said that she was putting her foot down on this and that my friend wouldn't be in her wedding. I said if it's that big of a deal, she can drop his ex from the wedding and that if she doesn't want that, we can go along with the initial plan. Edit says, fine, I effing get it. I'll kick one of my best friends out to prove I'm not a cheater.
Story time about how my boyfriend tried to cheat on me with my fake Instagram account, not knowing it was really me. Disclaimer is not my story time, was sending me on Instagram. The funny thing is that when my boyfriend and I got together, I did not want the relationship. He begged me for 6 months to be his girlfriend. And you see, the only reason why I didn't want to was because I knew that he was a player. Every single one of my friends had basically gone out with him. I was just the last girl in the group to go out with him because I always kept saying no. And looking back, he was definitely obsessed with me because I never gave in to him. I was the girl that he couldn't have. During those 6 months, he would hit me up on Instagram every single day. Anytime I posted a story, he would automatically reply to it. He would like and comment on all of my pictures. We also had a lot of mutual friends, so we would end up at the same events and parties. And every time that he would see me in public, he would zero in on me. He would basically ignore all the other girls at the party and make me feel like I was the only one there. And he would constantly compliment me and tell me how beautiful I was, how attracted to me he was, how I was just so different from all the other girls that he had gone out with. Trust me, I knew that he was love bombing me, but eventually after 6 months, I was like, he's gotta be honest. So I decided to give him a chance. And let me tell you, he has been the perfect boyfriend. He's so sweet and considerate. Of how my boyfriend tried to cheat on me with my fake Instagram and not knowing it was actually me. Disclaimers did on my story time was sending me on Instagram. That's when I opened up my account to see that my boyfriend had DM me. First I thought he was joking. When I clicked into the message and I read it, my heart and my stomach sank. He was taking a shot. He thought that I was some sort of influencer. Now when I created the second account, I was already with him. But I really didn't tell him that I was creating it. It was just for fun for myself. I did start gaining followers. I did put in a lot of work into this account, but it was pretty much a visual diary just for me. It just so happens that other girls liked the aesthetic and I started gaining a lot of followers. I had about 10,000. But here's my theory. Since my account is probably listed to be in the area that he is, probably popped up on one of his mutual lists or his explore page or something like that, because I was trying to figure out how he found the account. The message read, "Hey beautiful, I really love your pictures and love your style. I'm also really into fashion. Lol, no he's not. And I would love to take you out on a date. I know all the good spots around the city. Let me know if you're down." So when I clicked on my boyfriend's profile and realized that he had hidden all of the pictures we had together. So if he had DM'd any girl and she was, it gets actually really funny. This man sent a picture of the outfit he wanted to wear. A brown fedora with the Louis Vuitton monogram on it, a Louis Vuitton belt, black pants, and a black shirt. So I replied saying, "That's perfect. I'll wear a black dress and my favorite Louis Vuitton purse." But I was still heartbroken. Here's what I did. I asked my mom to come with me to the restaurant. Her and I did our makeup, our hair, and we got dressed up really, really nice. And I decided to wear a black dress. My mom actually happened to have an old Louis Vuitton purse in her closet that she never wore, so I grabbed it. My mom and I show up to the restaurant and my boyfriend is already there. So I decided to walk in and turn around, so that way he could only see my back. My mom decided to stay outside of the restaurant, but she knew to come in as soon as he saw me. I suddenly feel a tap on my shoulder and that's when I turn around. He says, "Oh hey babe, what are you doing here?" The look on this man's face was of pure fear. That's when I hand him my phone so that he could see that the account that he was messaging was actually mine. That's when he says, "You lied to me?" He was mad at me for pretending to be somebody else. Then he started apologizing, and then he said that he knew the whole time and that he was just joking around.
Imagine winning a $30 million lottery and then going missing. On November 15th, 2006 in Plant City, Florida, Abraham Shakespeare and his coworker Michael Ford are on an overnight delivery route to Miami. Abraham gives Michael 2 $5 bills and tells his coworker to grab him some lotto tickets. He grew up in poverty and dropped out of school early. He does all kinds of jobs from fruit picker, dishwasher, and garbage man. He was earning around $8 an hour in these jobs. Well, one of his 2 lotto tickets ends up winning him a $30 million jackpot. However, he's a humble man and even gave his last $3 to a homeless man just before he won the lottery. He takes the lump sum instead of the annual payment and ends up with around $12 million after taxes are taken out. His generosity stays the same. He gives $1 million to his stepfather and $250,000 to each of his stepsisters. With his new money, he buys himself a mansion, a nice car, and a Rolex from a pawn shop. However, about 3 months later, he gets sued by his co-worker Michael Ford, who got the lotto tickets. Ford claims that the lotto tickets were his and Abraham stole them. He states that since he purchased the lotto tickets, the money, or whatever is left of it, belongs to him. In court, just after 1 hour, the jury finds it in Abraham's favor. Michael Ford appeals the verdict and the case goes on for months. During all of this, Abraham realizes that he's been giving one too many handouts and is losing his lotto money at a frightening rate, which is starting to get to him. In October of 2008, he meets with a woman named Dee Moore, who is a self-made financial advisor. She offers to help him with his finances and starts collecting on the many loans he had given to people. This included a $63,000 loan he had given to his barber named Gregory Smith. He had given Smith a loan, but only after Smith insisted on signing a contract stating he would pay him back. One day, Abraham doesn't show up in court for the ongoing trial with Michael Ford, and no one can find him. On November 24th, 2009, he's officially announced missing. A month passes with no new information until 2 days after Christmas, his mother gets a call from someone claiming to be him. However, his mom knows for a fact that it isn't him. Who would call a mother and expect to impersonate her grown child? This is when the family starts to suspect foul play. Crime Fanatic Friday Part 2. Imagine winning a $30 million lottery and then going missing. Police trace the call. They find that it came from the barbershop owner Gregory Smith, who owed Abraham Shakespeare $63,000. When police bring Smith in, he states that he was forced by a woman named Dee Moore, Abraham's financial advisor, to make the call. She had been pressuring Smith to pay back the loan or he'd lose everything, including his barbershop. She told him that if he called Abraham's mom pretending to be him, that she'd forgive his debt. She also stated that Abraham had left town and was tired of being hounded by people for his money. However, phone records show that Abraham stopped making any phone calls months prior. He had stopped calling and switched strictly to texting, and only to Moore. However, the thing is that Abraham never learned to read or write. So how was he doing this? Police set Smith up with a wire to record the conversations he has with Moore when they meet. During their conversations, she admits that she believes Abraham is dead and it was the doing of a crazy drug dealer from Miami named Ronald who threatened her. One day, she shows up with a handwritten letter and asks Smith to deliver it to Abraham's mother. In the letter, Abraham tells his mother that he's not coming back in fear of being arrested and scolds her for not recognizing his phone back when he called. Smith knows Abraham didn't write the letter because he knows that he can't read or write. When police take a closer look into Dee Moore, they find a long history of fraud and lying. By the time Abraham went missing, all of his assets had been transferred to her company. When investigators bring her in for questioning, she stated that she paid him in cash for all of his assets and shows a video of Abraham stating that he's going to flee to California because he's fed up with people asking for money. In January of 2010, Dee asks Gregory if he knows anyone who'd be willing to confess to killing Abraham for a price. Gregory states he has a cousin going to prison for 25 years and for enough cash, he might just do it. She agreed to meet his cousin, aka an undercover cop, and offers him $50,000 for the confession, but to make it believable, Smith needs to know where the body and the murder weapon is. A few days later, Dee gives him a gun and takes him to the house that she owns. She states that Abraham is under a concrete slab, and that's when Gregory states he'll be back later that night with his cousin to get the body. Police get a search warrant for the property and then question Dee again. She switches up her whole story. She states that 2 drug dealers came into her office demanding $200,000 and that Abraham owed them. Ronald finds Dee's gun in the safe, shooting him twice in the chest and threatened to kill her if she spoke about it to anyone. However, she's a known liar and investigators can't believe what she says. When they search the concrete slab, Abraham isn't there. They reach out to Dee's ex-husband and he states that she had him bury a hole in the backyard back in April, right when Abraham disappeared. On January 28, 2010, they find human remains and determine that it's Abraham Shakespeare. They find 2 shots in his chest being the cause of death. They arrest her and charge her with first-degree murder. On December 10, 2012, she's sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole plus 25 years for possessing a gun in the course of a violent felony.